Hello everyone, and welcome back to my food channel. Today, I'm sharing a home cooking tip that many of you have asked about: how to pan fry red snapper without it sticking to the pan. First, let's talk about the nutritional value of red snapper. Its flesh is tender yet firm, and it is rich in high-quality protein, unsaturated fatty acids, and various essential minerals. It is easily digested and absorbed, making it an excellent source of nutrition for daily consumption, perfect for both the elderly and children. When buying the fish, I recommend asking the vendor to scale and gut it for you. This saves you the hassle and prevents potential hand injuries at home. If the scales aren't removed thoroughly, the texture will be unpleasant when eating. Once the fish is cleaned, sprinkle salt on both sides, including the inside of the belly, and let it marinate for about half an hour to ensure the flavor penetrates evenly. Never wait until the fish is nearly cooked to add salt. Doing so prevents even seasoning, resulting in a salty surface while the inside remains bland. After marinating the fish for half an hour, we move on to the most crucial step: coating the pan with oil, or seasoning the pan surface. This is the key secret to preventing sticking. Whether you are frying red snapper, eggs, pork ribs, or chicken wings, this step is essential if you want to keep the food intact without the skin tearing or sticking to the pan. The process is simple. First, heat the wok until it is completely dry. There must be absolutely no water droplets left, or the oil will splatter and the food will stick. Once dry, pour in some cooking oil. Start with high heat to warm the oil. When you see faint wisps of smoke, reduce the heat to low and continue heating for just over a minute. If the oil gets too hot and produces thick smoke, turn off the heat immediately. Wait for the smoke to dissipate slightly, then resume heating on low to allow a uniform film of oil to coat the pan's surface. Once the oil begins to smoke faintly again, the pan is properly coated, and you are ready to fry the fish. Start frying the fish by gently placing it into the pan. Do not drop it in forcefully, as splashing oil could burn your hands. Safety is paramount. Protect your face and hands throughout the process. Once the threadfin bream is in the pan, do not rush to flip it. Doing so prematurely can easily break the fish apart. If the fish breaks, it is likely to burn or stick to the pan, potentially ruining the entire batch. Use high heat for frying, as the fish is usually cold from being previously frozen. High heat helps it hold its shape better. If the oil doesn't fully cover the area beneath the fish, tilt and rotate the pan to ensure the oil flows over the body, head, and tail, guaranteeing even heating. This ensures the fish turns out crispy and aromatic. During frying, shift the fish's position occasionally. Note that this means shifting its location, not flipping it over. Shifting prevents the bottom from burning due to excessive heat. Only flip the fish once the underside has turned a light golden brown. Do not rush this step. If frying multiple fish, avoid putting them all in at once. Fry one first until it turns golden, sets its shape, and firms up. Then add the second one. Otherwise, they may stick together, making them difficult to flip. Patience is key when frying fish. Start with just one at a time. Once the bottom of the first fish has turned slightly golden and fully set, gently slide the second fish into the pan along the edge. At this point, lower the heat. There is no need to keep the flame high, as that risks burning the skin while leaving the inside undercooked, which would ruin the texture. When the second fish first goes into the pan, stick to the same rule. Do not rush to flip it. Let it sit undisturbed against the bottom of the pan until it sets and develops a light golden brown edge. Keep an eye on the heat. If the oil gets too hot or the flame seems too strong, use your spatula to gently nudge the fish and shift its position slightly. This dissipates excess heat from the bottom of the pan and effectively prevents the skin from sticking and tearing. By now, the first side of the first fish should be perfectly cooked, so go ahead and flip it over. Be gentle when flipping. Use the spatula to firmly support the middle of the fish and turn it over slowly along the edge of the pan. Avoid jerky movements, as the tender flesh can easily break apart. Once flipped, you will see that the cooked side is a beautiful golden yellow and the skin is intact, the result of properly seasoning the pan and letting the fish set before flipping. Continue cooking the first fish on the other side over low heat until it turns an even golden yellow. Meanwhile, check the second fish. Once its bottom has set and turned slightly yellow, flip it over as well. For the remainder of the cooking process, alternate flipping and frying the two fish. You don't need to flip them constantly, but avoid cooking one side for too long. Flipping about once a minute ensures even heat distribution and a uniform attractive color, while preventing the fish from burning on one side. When flipping, try to support the fish's center of gravity with the spatula. Avoid gripping only the head or tail, as this makes it easy to snap the fish in half. If you notice any spots lacking oil while frying, you can tilt the pan slightly to let the hot oil flow over those areas, ensuring the entire fish is fried to a fragrant crispiness. After flipping and frying a few times, once both sides of the two fish are golden, crispy, and fully cooked through, our pan-fried red snapper is just about ready to be served. Once both sides of the fish have turned golden brown and set, and the meat is largely cooked through, it is time to add the sliced ginger to the pan. The primary purpose of adding ginger at this stage is to eliminate any fishy odor while enhancing the aroma. As a saltwater fish, the red snapper naturally carries a faint oceanic scent. By this point, the proteins on the surface have already coagulated. The heat of the oil releases the gingerol in the slices, effectively neutralizing the fishy smell, a method that works better than adding ginger earlier. Meanwhile, the toasted aroma of the frying ginger gradually permeates the flesh, not only bringing out the fish's inherent sweetness, but also imparting a gentle ginger fragrance that adds depth to the flavor profile. Adding the ginger at this precise moment ensures the flavor is fully released without the risk of the ginger burning or turning bitter from prolonged frying. Once the aroma of the ginger slices has fully developed, you can add the minced garlic. Try to mince the garlic finely and evenly. Avoid leaving large chunks, so that the fragrance releases more quickly and uniformly upon contact with the heat. The primary purpose of adding minced garlic is to enhance the aroma and boost the savory flavor. The rich garlic scent, drawn out by the hot oil, complements the ginger by further neutralizing any lingering fishy odor from the red snapper. It also imparts a delicate garlic note to the fish, adding layers of flavor, so the dish offers a complex, savory taste, rather than just the standard saltiness and natural fish flavor. Additionally, the sautéed garlic aroma is highly appetizing and smells incredibly tempting. A quick tip: once the garlic is in the pan, sauté it over low heat for just a few seconds. Avoid frying it over high heat for too long, as it can easily burn and turn bitter, which would spoil the overall flavor of the dish. Once the aroma of the minced garlic is fully released, add the final seasonings. Drizzle in a little soy sauce to give the fish color and flavor. If you prefer a richer umami taste, you can add a touch of oyster sauce, though keep in mind that oyster sauce tends to scorch easily in the pan, so I usually find just a bit of soy sauce sufficient. The finished fish is incredibly aromatic, with crispy skin and flavorful meat, a dish that pairs perfectly with rice. Pan-frying red snapper this way yields golden, crispy skin and tender, succulent meat that is savory and free of any fishy odor, a hassle-free, delicious addition to any family meal. That wraps up today's tutorial on pan-frying fish. If you have any questions about the process, feel free to leave a comment or let me know what kind of recipes you'd like to see next. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, share it with family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future updates. Thanks for watching.